So the other day I was enjoying some YouTube when I came across a new video from Kentucky Ballistics where he is testing black powder in modern firearms. And right off the bat, it was a little strange because he tested in 9mm and continually has squibs. Which was odd because I've done black powder 9mm more than a few times and I can tell you that I've never had a squib. So I said to myself, that's odd. There's only one way to settle this. So I headed out to the garage to assemble some black powder 9mm. So for these, we're going to be using 124 grain Berry's plated projectiles. We're going to use this 0.7cc dipper to measure out our charges. This is homemade 4F out of Osage orange, and as you can see, it throws right about a 10 grain charge, which for a 9mm and these 124 grain projectiles is pretty decent. You have a little bit of room for compression without having to deform the end of the projectile trying to seat it. Now, Scott does say that he could only fit about 8 grains of powder in his cases, and I don't know what projectiles he's using, but I could get about 15 of these if I really needed to. Now, Scott does not mention in his video what brand or size powder he's using in his 9mm, but just to give everybody the benefit of the doubt, I did put together a few with 8 grains of some 1F powder here. You can see these are big old granules compared to the 4F that we used before, just to see if maybe the slower burning powder isn't what's causing his squibs. Now, I also assembled some with 4 grains of 4F powder, which is half the charge that he claims. But even still, I was pretty confident that with 4 grains, it still should make it out of the bore. And as a control, I assembled 2 cartridges that had no powder in it at all, because that's really what I thought happened. I didn't think there was any powder in those 9mm cases at all.
Today we're going to do some black powder 9mm. Now everybody knows that the 9mm black powder cartridge was a favorite of lawmen, outlaws, and whorehouse proprietors in the Old West. And after watching Mr. Frowny Face's video on the lackluster performance of black powder 9mm, I just couldn't handle it. So I had to come out here and try it for myself. So I have my Glock 19. Now he used a 17, I'm pretty sure, but we're going to use a 19. Now I have done this before, and it would not squib. The projectile left the bore every time, but it generally, in a pistol, didn't have enough energy to cycle the action. I think it would eject the spent round, but it wouldn't go back far enough to pick up the next. So
I remember it would stovepipe.
Oh, would it?
Yeah, we had a few.
So couldn't quite get them out?
I'm pretty sure it would stovepipe.
Well, I do remember in the Carbine, it functioned fine.
Yeah.
In fact, it shot up all the ammo, never jammed, and because I figured, oh, after 20 or 30 rounds, it'll probably quit. It went fine. I used it all up. So this is 10 grains of 4F Osage orange powder with a 124 grain jacketed round nose, pretty standard stuff. And there's a chance it might not function, but I'm confident that it will at least not squib.
Yeah.
So I think I got 10 rounds in there. Let's see what happens.
Well, why don't you put it in front of the chrono? We'll see.
Oh, we'll chrono it. Okay, sure.
Yeah, why not?
Not quite. 673. I don't think that one made it out.
Nope.
Yep. Okay. That last one was 692, 664. Now this is exactly what we saw the last time with this.
Yeah.
Not exactly the 1050 that we would get if it was a smokeless load. But certainly it's not squibbing.
Oh, almost made it.
Almost. 710. 670. 676. 669. 677. 650. 683.
So it seems that if we had a way to stuff a little bit more, maybe 12 grains, it should cycle.
That was 4F.
Oh, okay.
And I was thinking that if, with about 10 grains of 4F, if it's going to make it, that'd be its best chance.
Yeah.
But, again, it did leave the barrel.
Oh, yeah. Very
Now,
much.
I have a couple rounds of 8 grains because Scott said in his video that it was approximately 8 grains. Now, he didn't mention the weight of the projectile, the brand of powder, nor the F granulation, whether it be 2, 3, or 4F. No mention of that at all. That's not important stuff. But I do have a couple loaded, assembled with 8 grains of 1F. So let's see what that does.
All right.
Maybe that'll squib. Hey, right here. I got 4 of them. 8 grains of 1F. Boy, those were almost making it.
Yeah, they were.
Almost making it.
That 703 or whatever that was, that almost did it.
Almost.
The only thing you had to do was just pull back and let it ramp in. It ejected. Oh.
I couldn't tell where that hit.
High.
Well, Rabbit, it's your lucky day. Go on before I waste more ammo on you.
And these are 8 grains.
This is 8 grains of 1F.
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 Okay.
Look, I
Can't help yourself? Yes, I know.
look, I don't mean to sound like a jerk, but when I saw that squib, I thought to myself, there's no powder in there. So this is 8 grains of 1F, right? Stop looking at me. .447. Now that is leaving the barrel, obviously, but I could feel the action only comes back about yay much. .463. Yeah, so that was 8 grains of 1F. Still getting them out of the barrel. Much slower than our 4F, though.
Yeah, considerably. Yep, you just can't help yourself, can you? Ooh.
Well,
is that a headshot? Ooh, yeah. Just, you can't help yourself, you know.
I'm sorry. I know it.
Ooh, something to shoot that moves.
Something that shoots that moves. Okay, so since I happen to have some standard smokeless loads here, let's just see what these usually run. I don't remember if these are 115 or 124s, but it should be between 1,050 and 1,150 if I had to take a guess. So let's see. 1099.
1109.
That black powder kind of gums that up. That's the first time that has ever done that to me.
Really?
Yeah. 1109. 1156. 1112. 1030. Okay, so that averaged 1100.
Okay, so
That's pretty standard.
with the 10 grains of 4F, it's about...
So let me try the Ruger and see if it works.
Okay.
All right, so 10 grains of 4F in the Ruger LC9.
Yep.
614.
Yep.
602.
I told you.
So that averaged 605. So it runs in the Ruger LC9, but not in the Glock. Only just barely
Yeah.
in the Glock. That was fun. I'm going to try that again. That was fun.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, let's see how we do here. Well, look at all that smoke. So far, no squibs.
Oh, it's also,
Also functioning.
yeah, 21 rounds that we've got through it.
It's rolling like it's fine.
Yeah.
That was another thing, too. He's got a fancy 1911, and he has to dump it in a bucket to get it to run after 4 or 5 shots.
Yeah.
And being the connoisseur of antique muzzle-loading propellant that I am, I can tell you just from watching that that is some bad powder.
Yeah.
That is some low-quality shit.
That is like shooting
Yeah.
gunky, dirty, filthy, foul stuff.
Now, he doesn't mention what it is.
Yeah.
You know, it might be some shit that some good old boy made up in his garage using lead media. So this is 4 grains of powder. So half the charge of what he claims that he was using in his. So let's see if these don't squib, huh? And we'll switch back to the Glock here. Let me stand in the same place so I can try and pick up all my brass. If anything's gonna squib, it'll be, well, besides the ones that I know will squib. But if any ones that have powder in them are gonna squib, it'll be these. So ready? Here it goes. Still made it out of there.
Oh, that was cute. 591.
No, that was the last one, I think.
Okay, well, reboot it.
Okay. You're right. We want to know. Everybody wants to know.
Yeah.
Who was it? Captain Pubic Beard was giving me a hard time in one of his videos because I didn't chronograph my black powder 45 auto. So, all right. So here's 4 grains of powder. 406. 351. Windsor or Cleveland? 385.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so even with 4 grains, it still leaves the barrel at 380, 400, 381 average.
Okay.
Well, are you ready to try the other ones?
Yeah.
All right.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Here they are. Now, I only have 2 of them because I figured that's all we would need.
Yeah.
Yeah. You gonna load 2? Why are you gonna load 2?
Yeah, we don't need to load 2.
Okay, so
Wow, so you could blow it up?
now do me a favor, would you? Put it on slow-mo right on the gun.
Oh.
Okay. All right. Well, that definitely didn't have as much
Yeah.
gumption as I thought. So
Maybe his powder is just that junk.
well, let's hammer it out of there.
All right.
There it is. Can you see right there?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oop. Yep, that's it.
Now let's hammer it out of there.
Get a little bit of sunlight in there. Yep, that's it.
Okay. Well, just based on that, he definitely had powder in there, but either not nearly enough or really, really lame powder.
Or was wet.
Yeah, it could have been wet. It most certainly could have been wet. Yeah, he definitely had powder in there of some kind. Good, bad, or indifferent, I think he did. So I have to amend my previous statement on the subject. So,
Jeez.
Do we just try that one just for sport, then have to hammer it out? Why not? I guess.
Yeah.
Why
Better
not?
than it sitting around and getting mixed up.
You know, you're right. You're right. Let's assemble it out here.
Let's squib it again.
Oh, sorry. Oh, here's our other squib. Ready? Here it goes.
Sounds like a bottle cap.
Yeah, pop. Better aim that time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, he had powder in there, just either not nearly enough or
I'll give him the benefit of the doubt and say that it was sopping wet.
okay. That was fun. I still have a shitload of it.
Well, let's use it in the carbine.
Oh, yes, the carbine.
Yes, precisely.
Boy, you know, the last time I had that thing out, in an effort to not use the phrase, I was calling it the Alpha Romeo 9er, and boy, I had all the tactical kids yelling at me like, oh, that's the cringiest thing I've ever heard. It's like, well, okay, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to sound cringy. I was just trying to not use a particular word that I know YouTube really dislikes.
Yep. Does not like it all.
And I guess none of them have any aviation experience either. So for this one, we'll just call it the carbine.
Yeah.
It's a 9mm carbine. All right. So here's our 9mm carbine with 10 grains of 4F and a 124 grain round nose. There's our smokeless load, 1325. And here's our black powder stuff, 815. Seems okay to me.
Yeah. Seems to run just fine.
Well, I wish the Glock would run. Let me try something to see if I can get it to run. Let me try something. Okay, so I have fixed this Glock 19 here. We'll see if it makes a difference. So 10 grains, 124 grain.
That ran.
Might have went.
717.
Nah, not quite.
705.
Nope. Ah. Oh, come on. Come on, run. Oh, boy.
Oh.
Oh, horrible. Oh, fucking rookie. That
Mr.
9mm black powder charge really has a lot of recoil, you know?
Dude, it looks like anything over 715.
It'll run if
enough-
it's like 720, huh?
If it's got anything over like 720, it's got enough gumption to
Dang,
cycle it.
that almost worked.
Yeah.
Almost worked. If you could up it to 12,
Yeah.
which is just about a full case.
Yeah, but black powder, you want to compress it anyways.
Yeah, well, 10 grains is not a lot, you know?
No, it's
But
not.
that average 720.
Most of them ran.
Yeah, most of them ran.
I think you only had, 2 that you had to cycle?
Yeah, well, one of them just needed a little bit of help
Yeah.
getting in there feeding. Which, if you grease it up really good, it probably will just keep running. I don't have a bucket of water to dip it in, but so far I haven't really needed to do that. So let's try the carbine now.
Okay.
Got about 20-something rounds in this right here. So we'll just see how it does, huh?
Yeah.
Gee, the finger was getting tired of pulling the trigger. I think the moral of this story is that all of those cowboys back in the 1800s that used black powder 9mm were really onto something. It's not nearly as wimpy or as horrible as some people make it seem. This thing cranks it out just fine.
Yeah.
No issues, jams, hang-ups, nothing at all. The Glock, a little bit more temperamental. After I clipped, it seemed to run at least better. I think I got through a whole mag without a problem, or did I still have one hang-up?
No, I think...
I forget.
I think
kind of a lot's happened since then.
I think you had one.
I had one that didn't want to go into battery.
Yeah.
But this thing and this thing work like a charm.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not even as weak as I was really expecting it to be. I mean, you know, 700 feet per second, about mid sixes, high sixes.
As opposed to 10 and change.
Yeah. What was this? 8?
Yeah.
It was, I don't know. We'll put it right here.
Yeah.
And, yeah, so it runs. And to Scott's credit, there appeared to be some powder in those cases, but it was either wet or not nearly enough.
Yeah.
Because even with 4 grains, I still got it to fire. It wouldn't cycle, but either that's some really, really bad powder or it was wet. Maybe they were loading it in a thunderstorm or something. Yeah. I don't know.
Very possible.
Yeah, there you are. Black powder 9mm. Not as bad as you would think. Yeah, it's dirty in there, but...
Yeah. Let me see. On the light here. Get your hat out of the sun. Oh, yeah, that's filthy.
It's dirty. I'll tell you what, how about we, just to see if it'll run, let me put some smokeless rounds through it, huh?
Okay.
Just really quick. I got 4 more. And then I have this one here, this one lone one that I think is a black powder round. That's what I get for not keeping them separate.
Yeah, nice going.
Well, they all look the same. It's not my fault. All right. Ah, there it was.
Yep.
I don't know, man. Seems okay to me.
Yeah.
Okay, I was mistaken. My initial thought was there was no powder in any of those 9mm loads that Scott showed in that video. There clearly was some kind of powder in there. Derek seemed to think it was probably because it was wet. I think there's not nearly as much as there should be. Even with 4 grains of powder, I was able to get the projectile to leave the bore, and even at a relatively lethal velocity, maybe at point-blank distance, of course. So I think there's just not enough powder in there. And when he says 8 grains, I wonder if he means like 8 individual granules of powder or something. I'm not quite sure, but he definitely had some powder in there just based on the amount of gas escaping out of the breech, where if you compare that to mine, there's absolutely none. And I know for a fact that those were squib loads. So, my mistake. Now, I'm not making this video to pick a fight with Scott. If I was going to pick a fight with somebody, I'd pick on somebody who didn't have 5 million subscribers. So, my issue with this is, I guess, if I really can hold back my prickishness, is when he says...
So the amount of black powder that you can fit in that case doesn't seem to be enough to even create enough energy to make it out of the end of the barrel.
Well, I disagree, and I disagree based on every time I've tried black powder 9mm, I have never had a squib, ever. Now, if you want to argue what functionality is, the definition of functionality versus, you know, the projectile leaving the bore as opposed to it functioning in a semi-automatic weapon, okay, fine. But
2 out of the 3 semi-automatic weapons that I tried this in functioned flawlessly. And after I fixed my Glock 19, I just had one that wasn't quite in battery. I had to give it a little bit of a bump. It was better, obviously, as opposed to it not functioning at all and me having to work the action manually. But I just have to disagree. Now, I know that there's a shitload of people out there that are just dying to load black powder 9mm. So no need to thank me. I'm here to help. So as usual, folks, if you thought this video didn't suck, do me a favor and hit the like button and consider subscribing. And if you did think it sucked, go make your own damn video, like Captain Pubic Beard has done.
Oh, make my own damn video, you said. Okay, well, you know what? Fine. Challenge accepted. I'll make my own damn video, and it will be way better than whatever this crap was. You'll see. I know how to entertain people.